We have now got to the summer break of the 2023 Formula 1 season, and it has been a strange season to say the least. This is due to the pure dominance of one driver in Max Verstappen, who is close to breaking many records this season, but we'll get onto that later on in this video. It has been one which not many people expected coming into the season in a good but also a bad way. We all thought that Mercedes and Ferrari would bring the fight to Red Bull at the start of the season, but it was actually Aston Martin who were the ones closest, even though they were still miles away. The season has been very eventful, except for the battle for the lead, with the battle for the final podium places being very interesting and changing from race to race. It is even harder to get into the points, with teams like Williams coming up the field and cementing themselves being close to the points once again with Alex Albon. We still have a long way to go, with so many things to play for after the break, and today we will be looking into the future and what will happen after we come back to Zandvoort, and we will also be talking about Verstappen and when exactly he could win the World Championship. Some of the possible battles for the positions in the Constructors' Championship that you should keep an eye out for, and finally, how some drivers could move teams as we enter the silly season in Formula 1. Let's get straight into the action, shall we? When it comes to a race weekend, you would bet your house on Verstappen winning the race no matter where he is starting on the grid. He just can't do anything wrong, and everyone knows that he will win, showing how good he has been this season, but also how good the RB19 is. He shows confidence in everything he does, and it's something you have to respect, even though it has made the season a little boring at times. But Formula 1 has always had one team dominating for periods. Not every season can be like 2021.
Taking each other out of the Italian Grand Prix.
Max is on track for properly breaking the record for the most races won in a row, and this can get done in Monza as long as he wins his home race to equal Vettel's record. If he can break this record, it will be a massive achievement, as many fans thought that the record would never ever be broken. But Max could once again make history. Continuing with Max, he of course is going to win his third World Championship in a row, and it could be done fairly soon. Max can win the championship at the Japanese Grand Prix, and he would equal the record of Michael Schumacher for winning the championship 6 rounds before the end of the season. However, the trend of how results are going right now, he will more than likely have it wrapped up in a round later in Qatar, and may even get it done in the sprint race, making history again by being the first driver to win the championship on a Saturday. You can tell that the way the season is going, Max is going to break record after record if he continues after the summer break with this utter dominance over the rest of the field. For some, it is very boring, but for Max, he for sure is having the time of his life, winning every race, breaking records, all whilst having nobody challenge him. So all he has to do is make it past turn 1 in the lead, and it's an easy win. Max will come back after the summer break after his rest and want to break many more records to come, and we think that he will be able to do that with the RB19 under him. When do you think that Max will win the championship? How many more races can he win after the summer break? Do let us know in the comments below. Moving on to our next topic, which is about some of the possible battles we will see for the final places in the Constructors' Championship. One position we are pretty certain is tied up is the championship winner, which of course is going to be Red Bull, due to Verstappen having more points by himself than any other team in the paddock. And yeah, that's saying a lot. However, the battle for P2 to P5 in the championship is the one you have to keep a good eye on, due to how close each of the teams in Mercedes, Aston Martin, Ferrari and now McLaren are in this battle. Every time you come to a race weekend, it is hard to call who will be the team ahead of these 4, and that is what the most interesting thing and one thing to look out for when we come back from the summer break. Mercedes probably should have P2 if they continue this progress. Aston Martin should stay in P3, and Ferrari and McLaren is the fight you should keep an eye out, as they have very different packages right now, and they both want to get P4. Now, McLaren is the one team who can make the most changes and go up the order with how far they have come since Austria with their major upgrades. Then you go into the rest of the teams. Alpine have P6 on lockdown due to their pace over the rest of the teams beneath them. Regarding the likes of Williams, Alfa Romeo, Haas and AlphaTauri, they are all so close with their pace that it's hard to call where they will finish, as they all seem to be so far back from the points, except for Williams under the hands of Alex Albon, who looks handy at times and can help them finish a very good and respectful P7 in the championship. The battle for every position is important as we head to the end of the season, as the higher up you finish, the more money you get, and every team will want this. Overall, even though the championship battle is done, there is much more for the rest of the grid to fight for. Do you think that this season has been good if you take Red Bull out of the equation? Drop a comment below and make sure you let us know your thoughts. Our third and final topic is about some of the driver moves and the contract talks that will happen as the season goes on. It has come out very recently that both Tsunoda and Zhou Guanyu have extended for 2024, and there are also talks for two big names in the sport in Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, who are close to extending their contract with their own teams. The whole situation with Red Bull and what they will do with their second driver is something to keep an eye on. They say that Perez will fulfill his contract until the end of next season, but they are known for telling lies in the media, as we have seen in the past. We could see some movement from Red Bull and AlphaTauri as they look forward to what they want in 2024. Do they want Perez there anymore? Will they take a risk on Daniel Ricciardo if he performs well for the rest of the year? We will have to find out. Towards the bottom of the grid, we could see some shake-ups too, depending on if certain drivers perform well, such as Logan Sargent. Now, of course, it is possible for some drivers to jump ship mid-season or get a pre-contract for 2024. Some drivers who to look out for are Lando Norris and Alex Albon, who are seen as young talents who are wanted by many teams on the grid. This silly season in 2022 was on which was very crazy, and it will be very hard for this year to see so many changes as we saw last year. But one move by one driver could cause the whole grid to go into a frenzy. Formula One, after the summer break, still has a lot of questions that need answers, and anything can happen in Formula One, so you cannot rule out a single thing in this sport. Teams will focus on 2024. Some will still want performance out of this season, and it will cause a lot of movement. We will just have to wait and see in a couple of weeks when we return to the home of the Orange Army in Zandvoort. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and make sure you drop a like and hit that subscribe button to watch more videos just like this one.